Steve reached out to me and asked me to speak today. I'll give a touch of my history. I think it's important. Some of you I know, some of you I don't. I will tell you, I'm still new on my journey. It's been a few years, so I'll give a real brief back history of me. I was in the Marine Corps. I'm retired. I did a lot of combat tours, a lot. Prior to that, I already had challenges. I don't think anybody joins the Marine Corps specifically because they're like, you know what, I got my life together. I should probably join the Marine Corps and I'll be the little cherry on the top. So I had my own issues already going in. While I was in there, I got a pretty good drinking addiction. On top of other things, I have always been a pretty aggressive and violent individual. And what's interesting about the Marine Corps, which is awesome, you keep getting promoted the more aggressive you are. It's great. So it worked out well for me. I fit real well. While I was in the Marine Corps, I got into motorcycle clubs because I've always ridden motorcycles. Getting out of the Marine Corps, it was this really weird thing where one day they're like, hey, good morning, and you're getting the greetings and you're somebody. The identity, I went in when I was 17. My identity was there. And then the next day I was nobody. I thought I was nobody. Let me rephrase that. So I looked for something else. I ended up going on the other route. I went into an outlaw motorcycle club. In the club I was in at the time, it was one of the big four, for those that know what that is. And I lived on the road. Ended up catching a pretty good, amazing drug addiction. I was really good. I always said, and this is why I still don't drink. As soon as I would have a sip of beer, this little gnome would pop out and I'd look down and I was like, oh, there's a gram of cocaine in there. How'd that get there? And I'd go through quite a few of those throughout the week. And I stayed on the road. I ended up getting cancer. My marriage fell apart. I had an incident in Arizona. I'll leave it at that because there's certain ones that I've spoken where they weren't recorded. All right. I don't know who's a cop here. I don't want to bring up old business. All right. And I saw a church while I was riding back from Arizona. I pulled over. I took my rags off. I went in. I was still really freaking high. And I walked out and I was like, okay, I think I'm done. I went through my first year, a lot of rage. I felt abandoned by the club. I felt abandoned by everybody. I ended up meeting some good dudes. This was one of the first groups because my goal was, as long as I stay around the church and I stay in things and stay busy, then I can stay sober. I could stay clean. This is one of the first groups I came to, and one of the first guys that I spoke with, which we'll talk a little bit about brotherhood here in a second, was Bro. And if you knew Bro, he was amazing. I still think of him often. He was the first guy I spoke with where I was like, okay, I'm not so screwed up. Because his backstory is really screwed up, all right? And he was the one that encouraged me to speak after I had been clean and sober about a year and some change, and give my testimony. I kept saying no, and then one day I did it here, and it was one of the most, I don't want to use the word freeing, it's more than that. It's hard to describe. And ever since then, I've spent a lot of my time speaking with other outlaw bikers, gangsters. Like this Friday, I'm going to go out with, not that anybody knows, but there's a bunch of Parus that I go and talk to, and I just talk to them. Tell them my story. And it's wild how many people, there's one guy in particular, he goes to church with me now, never thought he would go to church. He had a serious meth addiction, also an outlaw biker. And he goes, I see him every Sunday. We meet up every Sunday. We go to church together. His wife isn't on board yet, but he still shows up. And we'll talk a little bit about that, about when we get into brotherhood. this group of individuals, being able to have another man can change everything. But not only that, but are you the right man for somebody to talk to? I think what I continue to run into and what I still continue to run into, so continued past and present, is you run into somebody and you're like, I'm feeling down, I'm having this moment, I slipped, I failed, I cheated, I did this, I did that. And then you run into some guy that says, well, I'm a better Christian than you. You're just doing it wrong. That's not brotherhood. So we'll talk a little bit about it. So today, how do you get back up when you fall down? I have found, and I wish Steve was here because I love, if you get a chance to listen to his story, he was sober for many, many years. And then just like that, he was drinking again. The hardest part is when you think you put yourself together and you think you figured it out. Well, I'm a Christian. So now you created this identity instead of a relationship. When you fall down, we get lost. It's almost worse than it was when you started. And then you're hiding it. You start hiding it from people. Cheating on your wife, drinking, whatever it might be, whatever your vice is, we all got it. And here's the thing, a lot of us don't talk about it, or we lie about it. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So how do you get back up when you fall down? So let's be real, every man in this room has fallen. Not just mistakes, moments where you knew better and still did it, drifted, slipped, checked out, went off the track. So the question isn't, why did I fall? It's why did I stay down? Why did I stay down? So I want to make sure everybody knows this isn't a message about guilt. It's not a message about guilt at all. It's about getting back up. Through my journey, I've had multiple opportunities and multiple moments of falling down. So example, I met up, so I get some word. You know, when I left abruptly. I won't go into my leadership at the time, but I left abruptly. I made a choice, and word got on the street that where I was, they were looking for me. And I don't mind, still don't mind, if somebody's looking for me. But if I'm out on my motorcycle with my wife and you're making threats, you're gonna find me. I'm gonna come looking for you. So I did. And I warned him. I says, well, I'm coming to look for you. And if I find you with your wife, I'm gonna get you before you get me. So we ended up having a little sit. We had our conversations. We were supposed to be going in peace. And then they go, hey, come and have a shot with us. I says, no, I'm good, man. I quit drinking about 6 months ago. Oh, you're gonna disrespect us like that? We just had this conversation, and you know, it didn't take much. I was like, all right, I'll do a shot with you. It's funny, that shot, it was noon the next day. So I started it was 6 p.m. Noon the next day, I'm in the clubhouse, really busted looking lady swinging around a pole, and a pile of cocaine in front of me, noon the next day. And I swore I would never have another drink. I swore I would never have another drink. But it happens. It happens. So what do we do with that? So what I want to get into is just talking about the different things. First one is just shame. Shame. I think shame hits different. I'm not a woman. I don't pretend to be a woman. I don't identify as a woman. I never have. I don't understand women. My wife reminds me often. She reminds me that I don't understand women. Often. I can't express that enough. But I deeply believe that for men, shame hits a little different because we have obligations. We're built that way. I think when I run in, it might be generational too, when I run into certain men and they don't have this deep burning desire to find purpose and to fulfill obligation, I question. But I think for us, the shame is something that we just it eats us alive. Absolutely eats us alive. So, you know, we get into, well, I should know better. I knew better. I've gone too far. But shame is one of those things that when we get knocked down or we make bad choices, it just puts us into, what they say, we go into our cave. I'll figure it out. I'll go into the next one, which is just isolation. So the shame kicks in, and then we retreat. Should we be retreating? You know, one of the coolest things that I've found, at least, is every moment, and I do it often, I just talk to God. I just talk. I mean, I've heard that there's a certain way to do certain things and this, that, and the other, but again, I'm in a relationship. I'm in a relationship, so I just start talking. I don't even know what to say half the time. I just start talking. This is what's going on. And sometimes I'm just, hey, God, what's going on? Hey, what a great day. This is awesome. And we just have a conversation. And I'm telling you, I'm sure if somebody put a camera in my car, like one of those reality TV shows, like the Kardashians, but like the Krises, I don't know, nobody would watch that. But if there was they would say, this dude is something's wrong with him. He's touched, you know, and I'm talking about like angel came down and just bling, touched me. Because I have these moments. I have these moments where I just sit there and talk to God. But it's wild how sometimes the shame could be so deep that we even isolate ourselves from God. And this is what's wild. We sit there and go, oh, I just don't, I shouldn't pray because I screwed up. He's already here. He's just sitting there in the pastor seat going, I'm right here, waiting. Yet we'll still isolate ourselves. So we stop answering calls, we stop showing up, we pull away from people. And when we get to the brotherhood part, I want you to hear one of the big ones. We stop showing up, we stop taking calls, and we pull away from people. And I've said this before in previous speaking. For those of you that know each other, if your brother stops showing up and stops calling you, here, I'll do that, and then I'll still look right. Or they start pulling away. Have you called them? Did you send them a text? Or even yesterday we were talking, I have a friend of mine, he's 86 years old, and and he lives in LA, and he just, I don't know, he just seemed down. So I just took the day off. I just rode out to LA. I just went and hung out with him. I thought I was going to be there for an hour. I wasn't. I was there for hours. And let me tell you, that 91, you want to talk about having a moment. So what is this about? Hold on. How to get back up when you've fallen down. You want to talk about having a fallen down moment, go on and jump on the 91. People, it makes you question everything and how far you've come along. Because I'll get in there and I'll start, don't let me win the lottery. Because we were talking about this morning. I would get a big truck and just start tapping folks. I won't hurt them. You know, I'm not like trying to wreck them, but just give them a bump. Just enough of the bump to where they can't afford to get another car, and I just drive me, get an Uber. I'll go pick up another one because I got money and you don't, right? I have these moments. But then you go, oh, I'm sorry, Lord. And then you kind of work your way through it. So getting back to, I'll get off topic here. So the isolation. But after the isolation, what comes next? Even when people start reaching out, the lies. I just this is where the tent was pretty awesome. That's actually my good side. You can look at me like that. But it's the lies. What happened? He's all right. Steve, you want to hit that? Oh, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so lies. We get into the lies, and this is one of the best ones. So like I've already been saying, we start telling each other, how you doing? You want to sit down, come hang out with us? Grab a chair. Yeah, come on and grab a chair. Thanks, Dad. It's all good. I'm Kris. No problem. But it's the lies. You're not that guy anymore. You just messed up again. You're too far gone. So we start lying out to ourselves. We start justifying, since we pulled away, we went into isolation, we start lying to ourselves and basically saying that we can't recover from what we have done. Well, I cheated on my wife. I did this, I did that. We start lying to ourselves. I'm telling you, we're good, fellas. I'll just scoot right up a little bit.
Let's get a check. Don't worry about it. You're good, man. You're good.
Oh, that thing's gonna melt.
Pay attention to him.
That's gonna melt.
Is it by the heater? It's fine. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah? Okay, I'll keep going.
Keep going.
All right. So, the lies.
Yeah.
So far, shame, isolation, lies. That's not God talking. When we start telling ourselves these lies in order to justify why we actually have the shame and why we isolated ourselves, that's not God talking. That's not how God works. So how do we get back up? This is the key. How do we get back up? Why don't we start with just owning it? You start by owning it. Yeah, I did it. Yes, this happened. Yes, I screwed up. Don't delay it. Don't blame anybody. Own it. Absolutely own it. And then immediately after you own it, you got to reconnect. Whoever that might be. I'd say start with God. Maybe start there. Lord, I did this thing. I felt shame. I feel shame. I have isolated myself from my friends, my brothers, my family, whatever it might be, and from you. And I have lied to myself, and I've lied to everybody around me. I did this thing. Lord, please, let's reconnect. Let's have that relationship. Brothers, I've been going through it. Let's reconnect. Family, I did this thing. Let's reconnect. Help me. Challenge that comes with that is going right back to lies. Well, they won't. They won't accept me. They won't think I'm a good enough Christian. Or even like when I was going back to Steve, I wish he was here. After so many years of sobriety, do you know the amount of shame, especially when you talk about clean and sober? You get 10 years, 20 years under your belt, and then you have this moment. You sponsored all these different people. You were the person that everybody was looking to. Do you know how much that just rips an individual apart? Own it. Reconnect. And then this is the big one for me. Then you got to lean on the brotherhood. Which brings me to what I was saying earlier. Are you a good brother? Are you a good brother? Are you your brother's keeper? Are you your brother's keeper? And I can't express this enough. If you're one of those, and I will call you out on it if you're a friend with me, and you're one of those pious individuals, I'll give you a quick story. I ran into a friend of mine. He's a biker, Christian club, and we were just sort of talking, and he saw some stuff on my Facebook with different outlaw guys that I've been spending time with. And he felt a way about it, even though he didn't ask me anything. He just saw freaking pictures. He decided he wanted to start chirping up. And then I just kind of quickly said, hey, you might be confused on first who I am. And second, what the hell's going on? All these individuals that you see me taking pictures with, you probably haven't even looked because you're hanging out only with your small select group of people that are just as good as you in Christianity.
Come on.
But it turns out all these people are coming to the church now. Because I've been talking to them. They've been watching my change and shift. And are they as good as you? No, they're not. But you know what? Yes, they are. In fact, in a lot of places in the Bible, this is what I love about the Bible. So there's a lot I love about the Bible. You're talking about thousands of years of documented truth and history. Thousands. How long has America been around? 250 something? Thousands of years. And the human condition ain't changed. The human condition has not changed. God always continues to pick these messed up people. And not kind of messed up. I'm talking about even King David. Not only did he see this woman, but said, hey, I'm going to do that, right? Did it, but then said, I'm going to kill her husband. We can go through just about anybody in the Bible. Moses. Major figures. Yet somehow, Paul, when I first started really getting into the Bible, I needed somebody I felt like I could connect to. Paul. And what's wild is as you read and you can hear the individual and how they write, Paul was still him, even after he had come to Christ, and he wrote as such. And most of the people in the Bible were gangsters. Like, they were about their business. They'd stab you, they'd cut your ear off, they did their thing. They were good with it. But somehow you think you got it figured out. And somehow you think that, is this only a place for you and people like you? Because last I checked, for this individual, you used to be screwed up too. Maybe you should sit there and get away from your little group, come hang out with me. Let me introduce you to these guys. No, I don't really hang out with people like them. He said that. Those are the people we should be hanging out with. Okay, so let me get back to the brotherhood. Are you your brother's keeper? When these moments happen, are you going to come in judgment, or are you going to come with a hug and say, let's work through this. Let's walk through this. Let's pray together. Well, how can I help? Because sometimes, here's the thing, we also are men, and we know that sometimes at that moment, we can't help. You just got to hold on and be available. That's also part of being a brother. Sometimes you just got to be available. Coming from a place of service, thinking less about me, mine, and I, and more about you, us, and we. I know you're going through it. Hey, brother, I'm here. My phone, bang my line. Call me up. I'll be right over. And just tapping in, checking in, talking to them. So talk to somebody. Lean on the brotherhood. You need to talk to somebody. You got to be honest when you talk to them. That's a huge one, because it's so easy how we like to omit information. Did you know legally, because for what I do now, I do finance all across the U.S. now, right? And I mostly focus on developments, all sorts of weird stuff, hotels, motels. And it's wild how some people will omit information, these investors, and they don't view it as fraud. Omitting information is still fraud. Just because you didn't outright lie doesn't mean that you aren't a fraudster. So as you look to reconnect, be honest and let someone in. When you're having these moments, you got to let somebody in. And again, I'll start off with, maybe start with Jesus. But when you lean on the brotherhood, whoever that might be, let them in. So, I want to end this the way I usually end it. I'm just going to say a couple things, and we're going to open this up, and we're going to talk. Because I think it's great that when people get together and they have, like, listening to somebody speak, but I'm only one person that has moments. Every one of you have had moments, experiences, and this is our chance for us to sit down and say, this is what I went through, this is how I got out of it. Don't just hear it from me. But it might give you an opportunity to say, I connect with that individual, and then after this, you get with them, and that could be your future brother. There's another one, same as I believed in the club, the same as I believe now when it comes to what we do here. Just because we all wear the same rags doesn't mean that you're my brother. What creates brotherhood is time and experience. Come and say hi to me, shake my hand. And then when you get done with that, maybe get my phone number. How about you use it? Let's stay in touch. That creates real brotherhood. But it always, maybe because of my views. What's up, brother? I don't even know you. I don't even know your name. We're brothers in Christ, but you ain't my brother. You can be. You want to be? Let's do something. So falling isn't failure. Quitting is. God is not surprised by your fall. I want to say that again. God is not surprised by your fall. How many times throughout the Bible have we seen it? So if we go back, we'll go back to Moses real quick. Hardened the heart. Hardened the heart. So when it got to a point, they could see how extreme everything was around him. Do we know what we're talking about, Pharaoh? Right? Sometimes these failures are part of the process. God's not surprised. And he's waiting for you to return.